Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of War Machines. Last time we started Heat D, where a bunch more great robots all made their debut and looked to provide an initial spark to show that they have what it takes to potentially win the whole thing at the end of the season. We surely saw that from quite a few robots, so we're definitely going to see a lot of competition for that next grand final spot. So, yeah, a lot of excitement should be coming tonight, so let's go ahead and review the bracket that we saw at the end of the last episode. And here are the 8 remaining robots from Heat D. On the left side, we get Beta, who looked very good in their first matchup, taking down a high-tier robot in Scorpios. They'll be taking on Orby Blade, who had to go through the redemption round, but did look strong in their last match, who will surely be able to bring some big competition to Beta. Then right down below, we got Rampage and Slammo. Both look good in their opening round match as well, so these two, we're surely going to see a major brawl between both of them for that final 4 spot. Then on the right side, we got Hydra and Scorpios. 2 big names. Scorpios had to go through the redemption round, but they looked good in that, while Hydra looked good themselves in their first matchup. So, yeah, surely that one is going to be an absolute brawl to the finish. Then, last but not least, we have Phoenix and Zonian Dinosaur, 2 rookies to the field of War Machines. Both of them look pretty good in their opening round match, so I'm sure that's going to be another one that's going to be a major brawl. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to our first match of the episode, because this is surely going to be a fun night. So our first match of the episode features one of the favorites to win this entire bracket. We have Beta and that powerful hammer, who's going to be taking on Orby Blade, that powerful and horizontal spinner. So, yeah, Beta definitely has a design advantage coming into this one, because Beta was built very well to take on horizontal spinners. But do not underestimate Orby Blade. It's like, while it definitely struggled to get a good bite and dish out the kind of damaging blows we've seen them dish out at BattleBots to Hydra in their opening round match, that weapon looked powerful in that match, in that Redemption Rumble match with Dragon Slayer and so on. So definitely do not underestimate that robot. So definitely coming into this one, Beta definitely going to try to use that wedge to absorb as much of the impacts as possible from Orby's spinner, and then use that hammer whenever they have a good opportunity to do so. And then Orby probably try to avoid the front, try to avoid that wedge, try to target the backside where lots of Beta's exposed areas are. Maybe if they get the chance, maybe to slice off the hammer. I expect this is going to be a huge rumble to start this episode, so I think we should go ahead and get to this matchup and find out who will be the first one to advance to the top 4 of this semifinal. Time for this match to begin. Beta with a very early, very quick charge and knocked Orby off balance. Knocking them off balance again. They're clearly looking to use that wedge to take the impacts as possible. And Beta lands a couple strikes with that hammer. And now that hammer looks to be lodged into the underside of Orby there. These two stuck together. Now Orby lands a couple small shots to the backside. Not sure how much it affected Beta at all. Beta going kind of crazy right now, trying to self-right with the hammer. And they do so. A hit right to the front, another hit to the front of Beta, but so far Beta unfazed by it. Look at that wedge though, look at all the marks in it from Orby's horizontal spinner. Beta might want to try to stop that weapon as soon as they possibly can. Orby flipped over, they do have a self-righter. Now they're upright and almost gets a couple shots, more shots in with that horizontal spinner. Beta still charging in there, going strong at it, and gets a big hit right there. I see a couple pieces came off. I'm not sure what those are exactly, but I'm sure they're important regardless. And now taking Orby into the rails, it looks like Orby is off balance. I think that blade may have broke on one of those impacts. Beta is starting to really dish out some damage to that spinner. And another couple of shots from Beta's hammer. A couple more pieces flying off. I believe they are more pieces of the weapon of Orby. Definitely not Not the start they're wanting here, because they wanted to be the one dishing out the damage, and so far it's been Vita dishing out the damage with that powerful hammer. We have a little over a minute to go in this match, and I think it's safe to say Vita is on top. Orby is flipped over right now, and simply using the unbalanced bit of that spinner to keep movement going. See, they're not using the self-rider, making me wonder, is it disabled? Vita continuing charging, continue to remain aggressive, looking to land that finishing shot, and they just took out that entire horizontal spinner with that last shot. It is official. Orby is now weaponless for the rest of this match, and now Vita has him scooped up, and Orby is not moving. 30 seconds left to go in this match. Vita just needs to hang back, because I think this match is officially theirs. If Vita wants some more, they want to land a couple last-second shots. Knockout! So yeah, that does it for that match. Another dominant performance from Vita. They were able to take those horizontal spinner shots pretty well, despite all the damage that wedge took. Because that wedge is definitely marked up thanks to that horizontal spinner on Blade. Just continue to prove that that horizontal spinner is no joke, and Vita was not taking it lightly one bit. But then Vita, through damage done by either that hammer and the arena, managed to really propel him to victory, because eventually that spinner on Blade broke, resulting in Blade being unbalanced and not being the same for the rest of the match. This shot was incredible. A perfect snipe from Vita's hammer, managing to knock the weapon clean off on Orby, leaving them weaponless and vulnerable to Vita for the eventual control board. Great win by Vita. They move on. So for our next match in this episode, we have Phoenix and Zani and Dinosaur, two rookies to this series of War Machines, both of them who looked pretty solid in their first match. So on the left side, we got Phoenix with that pretty nasty vertical spinner and that set of forks that proved to be very effective in their last match. Then on the other side, we got Zani and Dinosaur. Very similar design to BattleBot's Contender, huge, definitely with those big wheels and that painful vertical spinner, which really helped them in their match with Doomba in their opening round. Helped lead them to a pretty dominant victory. They'll be looking to do the same thing here, because they definitely have the design advantage here against Phoenix. So yeah, Phoenix has a towering task ahead of it with this type of opponent. So both of these robots, similar weaknesses, and I'm sure they each have similar strategies, because they both have exposed wheels. It's just Zani and Dinosaurs has much bigger wheels than Phoenix, but yeah, I imagine whoever is going to be the one to get those first damaging blows in could be the one to come out on top and set the pace for this match. So I'm really excited for this match. We got a battle between two rookie bots who both showed quite a bit of potential in their last round match. So I think we should go ahead and get to this fight. And time for this match to begin. And Phoenix and Zani and Dinosaur slowly moving at each other. Phoenix attacking the sides. Looks like they want to have the least amount to do with that vertical spinner on Zani as possible. And a couple weapon-on-weapon shots right there. Zani getting their first shot into their own. So far, both bots seem to be unfazed from each other's weapons to start this one out. We'll see how that turns later in the match. A couple more pop-up shots from Phoenix right there. They look like they're clearly trying to attack those wheels, try to do as much damage as they can. Phoenix is absolutely the faster and the more maneuverable robot between the two of them. Another big weapon-on-weapon shot. Phoenix gotta be careful about that. Not sure if that's the best idea to go weapon-on-weapon with such a large vertical spinner like Zani's. Another couple of shots right to the wheels once again. And another pop-up shot. They take a hit from Zani's spinner in the process. So, a couple pieces flying off here and there. I believe they are mostly part of Zani and Dinosaur's wheels and maybe bits of that frame. And now more weapon-on-weapon action between these two robots. But they both seem to be mostly unfazed from it. And now Phoenix, are they stuck up against the rails right there? Zani and Dinosaur hang back in this one, and now Phoenix frees themselves. I think the spinner hit the arena walls or something, which set Phoenix free in this one. And now these two get to continue this absolute brawl we've seen so far. Halfway through this match, I say Phoenix is on top. Some amazing driving from that robot. But look at this! Phoenix is now stuck once again! This could be heartbreaking if Phoenix gets counted out like this, because Phoenix is absolutely ahead on points right now. Zani hanging back, waiting for the countdown. However, Phoenix moves. They're ready to strike. And Zani freed Phoenix. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but that might not have been the wisest choice by Zani. Because like I said, they are definitely behind on points right now. And so it might have been better if they just took the knockout. The more weapon-on-weapon action. And there goes the entire bar spinner of Zani and Dinosaur. Forget me saying that Phoenix didn't want to go weapon-on-weapon, because it was Zani and Dinosaur who couldn't hold up to the weapon-on-weapon attacks. Now Phoenix just free to go, full reign on Zani and Dinosaur with that vertical spinner, because now they don't have a giant spinning bar to worry about. 30 seconds less than 20 seconds to go in this match, and surely saying more pieces are flying off. Zani and Dinosaur need the knockout, but I don't think they have the time to do it. However, I do see that Phoenix's weapon does seem to be off balance, making me think they did take some damage, but I don't think it really compares to the damage Zani has taken, and this fight is going to the judges. So yeah, this match, definitely, while it was an absolute brawl, it was definitely a bit more one-sided, I felt, than what I was expecting. So Phoenix did a great job behind the wheel for the most part of trying to avoid that vertical bar spinner and attack those wheels as much as they could. Zani and Dinosaur definitely got a fair couple of shots in, but definitely wasn't as effective. Phoenix definitely took those shots a lot better than how Zani and Dinosaur was able to take those hits. This moment right here was a near heartbreaker, making me wonder, like, what would have happened if Zani had hung back in this one rather than freeing them like that? Well, I do think this fight was overall won by Phoenix. Definitely don't underestimate Zani and Dinosaur, because Phoenix did get stuck a couple of times, which could demonstrate some pretty powerful control points to the judges. But let's go ahead and hear what the judges had to say regardless, and find out who's going to be advancing to the next round. So the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Phoenix! Yeah, I agreed with that decision personally. While Phoenix did get stuck a couple of times and did take a fair number of shots from Zani and Dinosaur's bar, it was Phoenix in control and dished out a lot more damage in that match. Not to mention Zani and Dinosaur had completely lost their weapon by the end of this match. So that was a great win and an absolute statement win by Phoenix right there with how well they were able to do in this fight. They will take on the winner of Scorpios and Hydra. But before we get to that match between two big names in BattleBots, we have a battle between two other names in BattleBots. We have Rampage and Slammo, where the winner of this match will take on Vita in the next round. So we got two very different designs, both contenders coming from BattleBots, and they both look good in their first round match. So on the left side we got Rampage, who had a pretty easy time dealing with Dragon Slayer in their opening round match and managed to squeak through a knockout victory. And on the right side, we got Slammo and that grappler, who managed to win a very close judge's decision against a dual horizontal spinner bot Double Dutch in order to get to this point. So yeah, coming into this match, both robots I think have quite a bit of momentum, because Slammo has proven to be very effective in past seasons, and they proved that that robot can absolutely take a punch, as we saw in that match with Double Dutch. So I'm very excited for this match. So Rampage will be looking to dish out as many shots with that vertical spinner as possible, knowing they have the advantage in that they can do damage in this one, while Slammo cannot. But then Slammo probably the better control bot between the two robots. So they'll be looking to complete a similar strategy to what they had against Double Dutch, where they want to try to control as much of the match as they possibly can and not let their opponents get a break. So yeah, I think this will be an excellent tactical fight between these two robots, and I think whoever drives the match better between the two of them is going to be one to come out on top in this one. So I think we should go ahead and get to this match and find out who will be taking on Beta in round 2 of this semifinal. Time for this match to begin. Looks like Slammo on the chase, already underneath Rampage, taking Rampage into the rails, and we get a lift from Slammo right off the bat. And Slammo immediately getting underneath. Now Rampage getting away and getting a small shot in, a little nibble in to the side of Slammo with that vert. So far Slammo pretty well unfazed in this one. So now we got a stalemate, a push off. Rampage temporarily underneath, now underneath, and at the backside of Slammo. This is exactly where Rampage would want to be, where Rampage can really take advantage. And now Slammo manages to find enough wiggle room to turn their front towards Rampage. And right now we have another stalemate between these two robots. Rampage underneath again, taking Slammo into the rails, laying a couple shots, and Slammo with somewhat of a suplex, I don't know, but a good lift by that robot once again. Minute into this fight, it's been pretty back and forth to start it out. Now Slammo underneath lands a nice flip on Rampage here, knocking that robot upside down. And now back to some more head-on stalemate action between these two robots. And now Rampage underneath again, taking Slammo into the rails, doing some damage to those front forks and to the front part of the frame right there. Now at the sides, chewing at the sides. This is right where Rampage wants to be. Slammo is not able to escape halfway through this match. I think those flurry of shots has put Rampage into the lead, and now they have continuing to stay on Slammo, taking that bot into the rails again. So far, that vertical spinner has not been the most damaging, but it has helped them. It has really helped them control the match so far, and that is absolutely critical towards winning this judge's decision for sure, since that's one of the 3 big categories in the judging criteria. Minute left to go in this match. I think this is still a winnable match for Slammo, but they definitely need to get something going to turn it around. Like that, for example. Nice flip from Slammo. Now Rampage back underneath, taking Slammo into the other set of rails, but Rampage ended up flipping themselves in the process. And now here comes Slammo. They have Rampage, and now Rampage having to use the self-righter, struggling to right themselves, but Slammo's still charging in on the attack underneath again. Another nice flip. 30 seconds left to go. Slammo definitely has a comeback started right now. They need to keep it up for this last 20 seconds. Another nice lift right there from Slammo. Another nice flip once again. Now continuing to try to self-right. This is exactly what Slammo needed in the last 10 seconds here, as this fight is going to the judges. What a fight from these two contenders. We got a back and forth brawl throughout this entire 3-minute bout. Quite a few amazing lifts from Slammo, both at the beginning and the end of this match. But then Rampage had some really well-defining moments, taking Slammo into the rails multiple times and managing to get a bunch of shots in with that vertical spinner. It definitely wasn't the most damaging weapon, at least of the bunch. They did take a couple pieces off Slammo here and there, but definitely it emphasized great control from that robot. This was such a back and forth match. I imagine the judges are going to could have a pretty difficult time scoring this match. But I hear the judges have their votes in. So let's find out what they have to say, because the spot in the top 4 is on the line, and only one of these robots can get it. And this is going to be a tight judge's decision for sure. We had lots of great action from both bots. So now the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Rampage! So yeah, I personally felt that decision probably could have gone either way, because we got some great action from both robots. This was a very back and forth fight. I'm guessing that hefty control moment right in the middle of the match where Rampage just had complete control over Slammo is what got it the victory in this one and managed to barely get over the finish line. Regardless, that was an awesome fight between those two robots. Sad that we have to say goodbye to Slammo. We'll see Rampage in the next round where they will take on Vita. But before we get to that match, we have one last match left to do in the first round of this semifinal. And it is between two big names in BattleBots. We have Hydra, who's going to take on Scorpios. So Hydra was very dominant in their opening round match. In that match with the Orby Blade, where they just tossed them around for 3 minutes and won the match by a pretty easy judge decision. However, Scorpios had to go through the redemption rounds after a loss to Vita in their first matchup, but then they managed to come out on top with a dominant victory over both Wallbreaker and Duva to stay in the tournament and get to this point. However, Scorpios has to go through a big name in Hydra, a former War Machines champion. So, not an easy task. I hear Scorpios is going with the same armor configuration once again for this match, because it looks like they want to try to outwedge Hydra, which is going to be critical for them to be able to effectively use that overhead spinner. Hydra's strategy, though, just keep flipping them, keep Scorpios in the air as much as possible, because the longer Scorpios is in the air, the less damage that spinner is going to do to Hydra. So, is Hydra going to pull off another dominant victory, or is Scorpio going to prove that they are absolutely still a big name to watch and manage to plow through the former champion? I'm really excited for this match. This is a fight I would honestly love to see in BattleBots in real life. See two big names like this just clash it out, and we're about to see it right here in War Machines. So, I think we should go ahead and get to this fight. Time for this match to begin. Scorpio's the aggressor early on. Hydra showing that despite that configuration that Scorpios went with that gives them better ground game, that Hydra is still lower to the ground robot, showing what the former champion is made of. But what's this right there? Hydra mistimed a flip and went right into the spinner of Scorpios and lost a big chunk of side armor. And now a nice flip from Hydra once again. Another nice flip there. They are smoking though, and now taking more shots to the sides and the underside from Scorpios. That was a critical driving error by a Hydra early on, mistiming that flip to where they got sent right into the blade of Scorpios. And Scorpios clearly did quite a bit of damage with that spinner during those couple flurrious shots. So now we got a little stalemate between these two robots. Hydra showing that they are still fully functional despite the damage they took. Now Scorpios underneath Hydra manages to land a little nibble to the side there. That was a big game changer from Scorpios, and Hydra landing a couple flips there. Nice shot to the front of Hydra from Scorpios, showing that robot is ready to start dishing out as much damage as they could. And now Scorpios has Hydra pinned and lands a couple shots. And now Scorpios underneath lands another shot to the top of Hydra. Hydra's not going to want to take a couple more of those, that's for sure, because Hydra is not that well armored of a robot here. Now Scorpios another shot to the front of Hydra. Scorpio showing that maybe that configuration was the right choice, because they're starting to win the ground game on Hydra. They are starting to outwedge the former champion. This is huge. Now Hydra is on control board. I don't think they can take another shot or two from Scorpios. Hydra's going to need to be very careful in this last minute. Can they hang on for another 50 seconds here? So Hydra trying to get underneath. Gets a near flip there. Gets a little lift right there. And yeah, I wonder if that flipper has been damaged or something, because that is not the power we're used to seeing from Hydra, that's for sure. 30 seconds left to go in this match, and that's going to do it right there. Scorpios with the KO over Hydra. what a match between these two absolute titans and BattleBots. Of course, while Hydra had the start of it, it was that driving error that really started setting the tone for Scorpios. A mistimed flip, the result that Scorpios took big time advantage of and was able to get underneath Hydra from there, and then just started showing some absolute dominance over the former War Machines champion. Sad that Hydra is going out this early in the competition, knowing it was the War Machines Season 1 champion. As soon as Scorpios was able to dish out that damage, they were able to use that armor configuration to full effect, constantly get underneath Hydra, land more shots with that spinner until Hydra was dead in the water, and confirming Scorpios' knockout. So yeah, after that victory by Scorpios, let's do a bracket review. Where on the left side, we're going to see a showdown between Beta and Rampage, two BattleBots contenders who both showed some pretty good stuff in their first round match in this episode. Then on the right side, we'll have the robot that just advanced, Scorpios, and their opponent will be Phoenix from BuggleBots. Should be a lot of fun, so let's start talking about the first match of round 2. So for our first match in round 2 of this semifinal, we have Phoenix versus Scorpios. Phoenix on the left side, they coming off of that victory over Zonny and Dinosaur, which was a pretty hefty victory, knowing that Zonny and Dinosaur had a pretty solid design advantage over that robot, and they still managed to come out on top, showing that that was an absolute statement victory for Phoenix. Then on the other side, we got Scorpios, whom we saw just in the last match, as we saw them take out the former champion Hydra, showing that that robot absolutely is a force to be reckoned with, and that themselves was a pretty solid statement of a victory. So yeah, Scorpios will be going with the same exact configuration that they have for their last couple matchups. Just the only difference being that that armor configuration is termed anti-vert. This is the first vertical spinner they've gone up against this season. So, it'll be interesting to see, will that vertical spinner will that anti-vert armor hold off the vertical spinner on Phoenix? Or will Phoenix manage to come out on top? Because that vertical spinner has proven to be an absolute nightmare of a weapon this season. So, it'll be interesting to see what we see between these two robots. I imagine we're going to get quite a bout between these two robots. So, I think we should go ahead and get to this match and find out who will be the first one to make it to tonight's final. Let's go ahead and get to this match. Time for this match to begin. Both bots being in the middle, and Phoenix flipped over and they took some fork damage right there. And Phoenix right back on the attack, backing off after a swing. Some good defensive driving from Phoenix, but how about that armor configuration on Scorpios? It is doing a great job of keeping Phoenix away from lots of those more exposed areas on Scorpios. Phoenix with some excellent defensive driving. Clearly they want nothing to do with that vertical spinner. And yeah, backing off once again is Phoenix, and now Scorpios back on the attack. What a shot from Scorpios in that one! Phoenix has just lost the entire vertical spinner after that one shot. That was a perfect hit from Scorpios. Another big shot, and Phoenix just lost a wheel in that. However, they do have Omni wheels, so they do still have drive on both sides. But how has the loss of that weapon just hindered their chances? Scorpios striking one of those forks, and that fork is now just gone after that. This was huge from Scorpios, who has Phoenix pinned and got the control board. Another statement win from Scorpios. That anti-vert armor proved to be the real deal, and then the spinner did the rest. One shot was all it took to disable Phoenix's spinner, and then that spinner managed to go for the wheels and then go for the exposed areas on Phoenix's frame. Yeah, that vert armor certainly did its job. It kept Phoenix away from all those more critical areas on Scorpios, and then was able to scoop up Phoenix and line them up for a heavy hit from that overhead spinner. Scorpios was able to get this one done quickly, and they'll be going to the next round where they'll take on the winner of our next match. So the other match in the top 4 of this semifinal features Beta and Rampage, two fellow BattleBots contenders. On the left side, we get Beta, who's been on an absolute kill streak so far, with those victories over Scorpios, and then Orby Blade in the last round, proving that this Hammerbot is definitely the real deal. Their opponent is Rampage, who's also done quite well themselves so far this season, starting off with that KO over Dragon Slayer, and then they won a judge's decision over Slammo in the last round to get to this point. So, yeah, Beta's weakness is always vertical spinners, and this is a vertical spinner themselves, so Beta is going to be wanting to probably try avoiding the front as much as possible, because Rampage has proven to have some pretty solid ground game. So Rampage's strategy, probably going to be trying to avoid the hammer as much as possible, and try to get to the backside, get to the wheels or something, or maybe go head on and test out the ground game, because if they have lower ground game, they should be able to pop Beta up into the air and do some damage to the underside. Similar to what some vertical spinners have been able to do to Beta and BattleBots. So yeah, Scorpios is awaiting one of these two robots in tonight's final. And certainly both these robots have looked to be undeserving of that spot. So I think we should go ahead and get to this match and find out who is going to be the robot to get to tonight's final. Let's go ahead and get to this fight. Time for this match to begin. Beta with a major charge, but takes themselves into the rails, and Rampage is at the backside of Beta. But now these bots going head on, and Beta lets that hammer fly and strikes the top of Rampage. Good shots from both of these robots. Rampage at the sides of Beta, looking to dig into that side armor, but that wedge is doing a good job, though, of keeping Rampage from popping it up into the air. Nice shot right there from Beta once again, and what about Rampage? I saw a couple parts fly off. Can't tell if that was part of the self-rider or part of the spinner or something, but regardless, that is some big-time damage count. Rampage is going crazy right now, trying to self-right and struggling to do so. Comes Beta with that hammer, landing a bunch of shots of their own. Looks like that vertical spinner was indeed damaged in one of those last couple shots. That is going to be huge for Beta. And already more parts are flying off of Rampage, showing that hammer is doing quite a lot of damage right now. Some more shots from that hammer. Rampage struggling to self-right right now. Now Beta clearly able to take control, and a wheel just came out of Rampage. Rampage is now down to 3 wheels here. 3-wheel drive. That's certainly going to make it harder for Rampage, especially when Beta has just been taking full control of the match. Halfway through this match, it started out strong for Rampage. Ever since Rampage lost that vertical spinner, Beta has been in near complete control. However, Rampage is underneath Beta right now, taking it into the rails. That's the most Rampage can really do since they lost the functionality of that weapon. And now Beta looking to charge in once again, but Rampage struggling to self-right again, and takes another hammer shot from Beta that sends both robots flying. So we have a little less than a minute to go in this match. Rampage is keeping this match competitive, but I have to say that Beta is still on top for me on the leaderboard. So, yeah. So now Beta underneath Rampage once again. Flipped over our both bots and saw another piece went flying. More parts coming off. Looks like that self-rider has now taken lots of damage, which will make it harder for Rampage to right themselves if they have to get flipped. I think this is the most hammer shots we've seen Beta land in a single match so far this season. Amazing durability from Rampage here, despite the fact that they've got no weapon, no self-rider, lost half their wheels, but they're now able to drive inverted, so that's somewhat positive news here. They're choosing to stay aggressive, and yeah, credit to Rampage for surviving the entire 3 minutes here with Vita after taking that much damage. So yeah, we got another judge's decision here. It was a good start for Rampage in this one, managing to land some shots to the backside and the sides, but it was that shot right there that ended up killing Rampage's weapon for the remainder of this match. And then Vita just landed hit after hit after hit with that hammer. I wasn't keeping track of how many hammer shots Vita landed during that entire match, but assume it was a lot, because, yeah. Huge credit to Rampage for lasting the full 3 minutes here with Vita after taking that much damage. Because after they lost the weapon, Vita proceeded to disable the self-rider, knock off quite a few wheels, and more. Let's go ahead and hear what the judges had to say. The judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Vita. So yeah, I think that decision was pretty clear. That was probably the easiest judge's decision of the night so far, in my opinion. But yeah, regardless, that was a great match, great fight that Rampage put up against Vita. Vita with another statement victory, and they will be moving on to tonight's final, which will be a rematch with Scorpios. Let's review the bracket. So after Vita and Scorpios' victory in the last round, those two will be clashing it out for the second time this season, where they will compete for another grand final spot. But then, before we get to that one though, we have a third place match, and so let's go ahead and start talking about that match. So for tonight's third place match, we have a vertical spinner battle between Phoenix and Rampage, two very similar design robots coming from different competitions. Phoenix from Bugglebots, Rampage from BattleBots. So both robots have looked quite solid this season, but definitely a win is a big must, because it is set that all robots who award second and third place in their semifinals will for sure get a spot in the last chance episode. Fourth place though, while some of them will get there, it is a bit risky. So definitely both bots would prefer a win, but they both have had solid resumes so far. So I think this fight is going to come down to who wins the ground game between these two robots. Both robots have shown they have pretty rock solid ground game, and whoever can deliver those damaging blows, get to those exposed wheels on their opponent. So yeah, I'm excited for this match. I think this will be an awesome third place match. Always love a good vertical spinner on vertical spinner battle. So I think we should go ahead and get to this match and determine who will be winning this third place showdown. Time for this match to begin. Now, Phoenix kind of being a little more the aggressor between the two of them, and Phoenix getting underneath Rampage and lands a couple shots with that vertical spinner. Rampage flipped upside down trying to self-right, but they're taking quite a few hits in the process. As Rampage flipped over once again, Phoenix is just not letting Rampage get a break in this one. Phoenix just staying on Rampage. Big hit there that sent Rampage across the entire arena. So now coming back onto the attack is Rampage. Where Phoenix starting to pick apart Rampage. We see part of a wheel was lost in one of those last exchanges. And now Phoenix is going right back on the attack. They have Rampage in the corner. And now Rampage has lost a whole wheel. Rampage down to 3-wheel drive and is just still getting pulverized time after time again. Another wheel has been lost by Rampage. Rampage has now lost half of their drive a little over a minute into this entire match. Rampage so far has just had absolutely no answer to that devastating power from Phoenix. The Bugglebot contender sure is getting the better of Rampage here, and another nice shot that flips Rampage over, and another wheel has been lost too. Rampage is now down to 1 wheel left. It is not looking good for that robot right now. This has just been an absolute dominant performance from Phoenix in this one. Well, over halfway through the match, I see Rampage temporarily got underneath and managed to shred off part of one of those forks. But Phoenix is now just right back on the attack, and part of a wheel was lost, it looks like, on Phoenix. Rampage starting to do some damage, but is it maybe too late? Because they've lost a lot of their mobility in this one, and now Phoenix, trying to get that last wheel, pops Rampage up into the air once again, and has him in the corner once again, trying to go in for that finishing blow here, but Rampage is not making that easy. Well, that's for sure. Less than a minute to go in this fight, and Rampage back into the corner they go, getting pulverized once again. They lost, looks like, part of that last wheel. Phoenix trying to finish him off, and they do! That is it for Rampage, and there's a control board! Phoenix dominant KO in that one, that's for sure. Right from the start, Phoenix proved that they had the better ground game between the two robots and was able to use that perfectly in this match, as they managed to land haymaker after haymaker with that vertical spinner, pummeling Rampage, sending them all across the arena and not giving that robot too much of a break. They eventually started going for the exposed wheels on Rampage, and that sure helped them in this one, because it helped them to cut down Rampage's mobility and just set that robot up to be tied out and to get the KO. As soon as Rampage just did not stand a chance in this match, which is sadly just not a good look for Rampage, knowing they will want one of those last chance spots. But yeah, we'll see as time tells. Regardless, dominant win by Phoenix. We'll see them in the last chance section. As for Rampage, we'll see as the season goes on. So for our last fight of the night, we have a rematch from the opening round of this group. We have Beta and Scorpios who will fight it out to clinch the next grand final spot. So last time, Beta just dominant in the match with that hammer, as that hammer ended up being the big factor in that match that led Beta to a knockout over Scorpios. So what is Scorpios going to have to do differently this time? Odds are good it'll probably have to be minimize attacks from that hammer and deliver the damaging blows to Beta before Beta can deliver the damaging blows to them. So yeah, both robots have proven so far in this heat they are absolute forces to be reckoned with. So I imagine regardless of who wins this one, we have a major title contender that's going to be going to the grand final. Potentially both of them too, because the other one will go to the last chance section and fight for one of those extra spots. So the other one could also be heading to the grand final too. So yeah, I imagine what we're going to see here, we're going to see a major driving battle between the two of them. And whoever is the one to land those damaging shots first, probably going to be the one to come out on top. We saw Scorpios lose their weapon when they fought Beta last time. Can they maybe return the favor and eliminate Beta's weapon? Or are they going to fall into the same fate as what they fell last time when they took on Beta? Because Beta ended up using that wedge to control the bout to the match, and then disabled Scorpios' weapon thanks to that hammer. Will Beta do that again? So, regardless, I'm excited for this rematch. These are two robots who have shown so much potential this season so far. So I think we should go ahead and get to this match and determine who will be taking home the next grand final spot. Time for this match to begin. Beta with an early charge and a swing and a miss with that hammer. Scorpios, trying to get to the sides, took a shot from Beta's hammer right onto those forks. Scorpios going with the anti-vert configuration once again. Try to go for that extra ground game to try to scoop up Beta and line Beta up for a shot. Big hit from Beta, flips themselves over, and Scorpios gets a shot or two in with that spinner. Pretty back and forth so far, both robots unfazed. Beta appears to be smoking, but they are still operating. It appears to be at full strength, so they're, for the most part, unfazed from that. Yeah, very tactical fight so far. Another couple of hammer shots from Beta here. This is exactly what Scorpios needs to avoid, and there's some damage right there. That is exactly why Scorpios has lost one of those forks and quite a bit of that anti-vert armor. But what about that right there? Vita went weapon on weapon with Scorpios, and while it worked out last time for Vita, it did not work out this time. Vita has lost that hammerhead. This is huge for Scorpios. Now Vita flips themselves over, but then took a little nibble from Scorpios' spinner. So now Vita looking to use that wedge and also still firing the hammer, firing the stick of it, and able to use that to send Scorpios back a little bit. Some excellent control from Vita regardless, despite them not having the hammerhead in this one. So Scorpios clearly still feeling the pain from Vita's hammer, because definitely Vita is still having the advantage control-wise, probably because of that damage that Vita took to that anti-vert armor, or that Scorpios took to that anti-vert armor. So yeah, 1 minute left to go in this match here. This has been very close. I think this has been a very close bout between these two robots. I think Vita is, even without the weapons, still in the lead. Scorpios charges with the vertical spinner facing backwards. They decided that pointing the weapon forward isn't working out, so why not just climb the wedge of Vita facing the backside? Not a bad idea. What an absolute brawl from these two robots, once again like last time. So yeah, Scorpios came in similar strategy, probably want to take fewer hammer shots this time around, and while they probably took just as many hammer shots, just as many damaging shots as well, they eventually ended up getting the better out of it, because this shot right there ripped off the hammerhead of Vita, and that was a huge game changer for Scorpios. As Vita, while using the wedge and then firing that stick that was left of the hammer, what proved to be an effective strategy, Scorpios choosing to just drive backwards, climb the wedge of Vita, ended up providing Scorpios the damage it needed to disable Vita and claim the grand final spot. So yeah, that's going to do it for this group. So kind of as a little recap, Scorpios is going to claim the next grand final spot after winning that rematch with Vita in the grand final. So they will join the other three contenders who have already claimed that spot in the grand final. Vita and Phoenix will for sure be contenders in the last chance episode. Depending on how the season goes, as for the remaining heats, will determine whether Rampage will also have a spot in the last chance. Time will tell, and we'll see how lots of the other heats go, and then we'll be able to make a determination then. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Then, congrats to Scorpios for making it there. Pretty well-deserved route, especially since Scorpios is now the second robot to have had to start off going into the redemption round, and then managing to bounce back to where they were able to win a spot in the grand final. So next time, we will start Heat E, where 12 more great contenders will all make their debut, including one contender in particular who made last season's top 8, proved to be probably one of the favorites to win the whole thing that season. It will be looking to make it a couple steps further. So yeah, before I close it out then, just want to apologize for the fact that it took so long for me to get it out. I've been very busy lately with college stuff, not to mention I'll actually be graduating college in less than a month. So preparation for that, as well as finishing out this semester, has kept me very busy. So I thank everyone for understanding and everything. So yeah, a lot more fun is on the way. I hope to eventually more consistently upload, and yeah. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I will hopefully see you all next time.